Over the course of 50 years, 1904 to 1955, the JCRS cared for more than 10,000 patients suffering in various stages of tuberculosis. Many were Eastern European Jewish immigrants who came for treatment to the hospital. Dr. Charles Spivak, the founding physician of JCRS, believed that even if a patient had only 2 weeks to live, they should die in comfort and dignity. For me, the synagogue is the spiritual heart of the JCRS. I was only 7 when my grandmother, Reva Mendelsberg, was dying of tuberculosis. On Sundays while she was ill, my father drove our 49 Chevy across the city to 16th and Pierce to the JCRS. I didn't have a strong relationship with my grandmother, as she spoke very little English, having emigrated from Lodz, Poland in 1922. While my parents visited her, I wandered the grounds. One Sunday stands out in my memory. My grandfather took my hand. Together we walked inside the synagogue for afternoon prayers. In 1955, my grandmother died of cancer and tuberculosis at JCRS. I had been a professor of graphic design at Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design for 20 years when the school moved to the campus of the JCRS in 2003. I've always loved old photographs and was inspired by the historic aspect of the campus to develop a course called Visual Sequencing. In the first courses, we used photos of early 20th century urban scenes to develop and create a story using text and illustration. The synagogue has been locked for decades, but the memory of being inside with my Zadie stayed with me. I became involved with Bernie and Susan Goldman, who were working to restore the synagogue. At a board meeting, I met Dr. Jeannie Abrams, the director of Rocky Mountain Jewish Historical Society and the Beck Archives. After meeting her, the dynamics of the visual sequencing course changed dramatically. Jeannie invited my students to dive inside the hundreds of carefully preserved patient files of the JCRS and to use actual records and photos for the course. Students who live essentially in digital space now could hold artifacts and fragments of history in their hands. Each student chooses a patient and constructs a story. They become emotionally and spiritually connected to personalities they have never met. The final project is a book that uses typography, photography, graphic art, and illustration to expand and enhance the patient's life. I did the research for my grandmother's file in the archives. It was a student who found her file asking casually, "Do you know who Reva Mendelsberg is?" Her record was disappointing, holding only a few items of little consequence. Yet it was her time as a patient at JCRS that led me to the synagogue and ultimately to this amazing project. On one level, the course is about becoming a successful designer by paying attention to writing well, using images, and understanding the user, reader, or customer. These are the attributes of good design. On another level, the course is about the significance of story and storytelling and how it has the power to transform the lives of future generations. This is my legacy. I am sending students out into the world with a broad sense of being designers and of being human as well.